We grooving, and we got some stuff to discuss today. Per usual, we have some things to discuss, but you know what we do first. You know what time it is. You know what it's all about. We got to talk a little bit about, obviously, Trump. We're going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're going to talk about George Santos. We're going to talk a little bit about Joe Biden. What is the Biden administration doing to improve its outreach to the Arab community? Because Joe Biden has lost some points with Arab Americans. So we'll be keeping our eyes out for what exactly he is doing to address these issues. We got Dark Dragon in the building. We got Vincent. What's going on, my brother? What's going on, Dark Dragon? How you doing? Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Got a couple of things to watch. And then I got me a phone call I got to be on. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get called at 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. because the phone call with the person I'm having, they're in Central Time. So they're an hour behind. So we'll see what's up. I'm not quite sure yet. But either way, I will be prepared. We got going at a good time today. So let's go ahead and get ourselves lively and get into today's news. We will be having an episode of Nerd News this Saturday morning. We got Bibliophile. What's going on? How you doing? But yes, we're going to get into it. See how the Biden administration is addressing I would say you could say tanking support from Muslim Americans. What's the Biden administration doing about that? We'll check it out, among other things. Of course, Donald Trump continues to lose his mind on a daily basis. And a very well-known and important healthcare activist, Barkin. I don't know if you've seen him. He's passed away. So we'll talk about a few things today. Mike Johnson, it looks like he's not quite having that easy of an intro into the seat of House Speaker. So we got a few things to discuss today. And then I got to get to work. What you got going for breakfast? For breakfast this morning, I had some tater tots and some peanut butter. Peanut butter bread on the side. I usually don't eat that much in the morning. I start eating later. I start eating in the afternoon. That's when I really start eating. We're going to have to start having Mothership Mondays. That's what Monday is going to be. Mothership Monday. Mike Nice in the building. Well, that's definitely good news, Bibliophile, that your husband doesn't have to get sent over there. Definitely good news. Hope that remains the case. Now, let us get into it. Speaking of that, we might as well start with this because the Biden administration has taken some hits from the Muslim American community, and these are votes that are going to matter in swing states. It's important to pay attention to exactly who's making the noise when it comes to who's upset with Biden. Now, what I mean by that is a large chunk and a large portion of the progressive base just flat out didn't put Biden in office. So a large portion of that outcry are people who weren't going to vote for him anyway. So as the months pile on, we're really going to have to pay special attention to who's being polled, because oftentimes what progressives don't realize, and I've mentioned this before, but like when you look at like the youth vote, a lot of the time those people don't show up to the polls anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like the Republican base is much more homogenous, much more in sync. But like until we get closer to the election, the polls just, they're just not going to hold that much weight, because it's coming down between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and it's going to be one of those two men. So we still got to wait a little bit to see what's up. But we are going to keep our eyes out for what exactly the Biden administration is doing, um, to address his polling needs. So, we got Sawima in the building. All right. Both the White House and President Joe Biden's reelection campaign are seeking to highlight his outreach to and support of Muslim and Arab communities in the U.S. as he faces increased pressure from some Muslim leaders to call for a ceasefire to the Israel Hamas war, which Israel launched in the wake of a Hamas terror attack on October 7th. President Biden knows the importance of earning the trust of every community, of upholding the sacred dignity and rights of all Americans, campaign spokesperson Amar Musa said in a statement on Wednesday to ABC News. Musa added, President Biden continues to work closely and proudly with leaders in the Muslim and Palestinian communities in America to listen to them, stand up for them, and fight back against hate. In an open letter, Muslim leaders from around the country last week urged Biden to back a ceasefire in the conflict or else. They promised to not support Biden's 2024 bid and instead actively campaign against him should he not comply by Tuesday, which they would take as an endorsement of the fighting. So, yeah, we're going to have to see exactly how he addresses it. What is he going to do? I think, yeah, we'll see. Because again, this is not going to be something that if he makes one statement that it's not going to make that big of a difference. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on this as things continue to play out. While Biden has repeatedly reiterated American support for Israel's government and military in the wake of Hamas's attack, including attesting to the country's right to self-defense, he has stressed that the Israelis should follow international law and seek to avoid civilian casualties in the war on Gaza. The blockaded Palestinian territory controlled by Hamas, which the U.S. has designated as a terrorist organization. The UN and outside humanitarian groups have warned of a crisis if aid is not allowed into Gaza and civilians aren't protected in the conflict. Israeli officials have said Hamas attack killed 1,400 in Israel. More than 8,700 people have been killed in Gaza, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health. The president's handling of the conflict has been criticized by some members of the Democrats' progressive wing, including Reps Rashida Tlaib and of Michigan and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. I cannot believe I have to beg our country to value every human life, no matter their faith or ethnicity. We cannot lose sight of the humanity in each other, Tlaib said in a statement earlier this month. So, yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, the president, whoever's in there, you got to push them into the right directions. You know what I'm saying? So, all the progressives in Congress need to band together to push Biden to do the right thing. And Biden seems to be more malleable than Obama was. I mean, he does. He's also half sleep all the time, so you feel me? Like it's not like he has a bunch of fervor, but it's definitely important that progressives, especially ones in Congress and everybody, push Biden to do the right thing. Just continue to push him to do the right thing. Jailani Hussein, executive director of the Minnesota chapter of the Council of American Islamic Relations, said in a statement that the U.S. Muslim community was tired of being ignored, disrespected. We believe that we have no option but to not vote for President Biden. So, yeah, I mean, if Biden wants those votes, which he does, Biden is going to want those votes. He's going to need those votes. He's going to have to do some outreach. He's going to have to address this. He's going to have to call for peace, So this is effective. And this is a real coalition. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a real coalition, like the Muslim American vote, because this is directly connected to them. This isn't like just, you know, a group of progressives who aren't quite happy that we didn't get what we wanted. But that's not what this is. This isn't like, oh, well, we didn't get Bernie Sanders, or, oh, well, I wish that we could have gotten healthcare, universal healthcare, but we didn't. No, these are people who have real skin in the game to this issue. So, yeah, Biden, he's gonna have to really do something about this, and I don't know what that'll be, but I think he'll do something. I don't think their administration's just gonna let this go completely by, but we'll see. Minnesota has a notable, because again, importantly, the United States' top ally is Israel. So, like, you know, Minnesota has a notable Muslim community, as does Michigan, both of which have been closely contested in recent presidential elections, underscoring the importance of voters there. We understand the impact that it has, Hussein said, and we're going to do everything possible to make this happen. During Biden's trip to Minnesota yesterday, protesters gathered at some events calling for a stop to the war. Rather than a wider ceasefire, the Biden administration officials have expressed support for a limited humanitarian pause, including to get aid to civilians in Gaza and help Americans and other nationals there leave. Biden said last week that Israelis and Palestinians equally deserve to live side by side in safety, dignity, and peace. During a campaign fundraiser in Minneapolis on Wednesday, Biden was interrupted by a heckler. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. I think we need a pause, Biden said back, as the heckler, later identified as an activist rabbi, asked what was meant by that. A pause means give time to get the prisoners out. This is incredibly complicated for the this is a quote. This isn't complicated. This is incredibly complicated for the Israelis. It's incredibly complicated for the Muslim world as well. What did he say? Adding he wanted a two-state solution. Mm, I'm just skimming through it. All right, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Because I mean, like, this is still a relatively new issue. So we'll see how it pans out. But it's definitely a tough place to be in for sure. I mean, just politically speaking.
At a fundraising event in Minneapolis, a heckler confronting President Biden about the Israel-Hamas war.
Oh my God. Care about Jewish people as a rabbi, I need you to call for a ceasefire right now.
The left-wing group Jewish Voice for Peace posting this video capturing part of the exchange on social media. The president responding, saying, I think a pause is needed for what he says could give more time to get more than 200 civilian hostages taken by Hamas out of Gaza. In Gaza, for the second time in as many days, Israel launching airstrikes at the heavily populated Jabalia.
Yeah, I think this is definitely Biden's most complicated issue going forward for sure. Politically speaking. And who was it in there? I think it was who said it? India wins. Yeah. You're definitely right about just a huge portion of the country really pushing Biden. But again, that's what we're supposed to do. No matter who's in office, and this goes beyond presidency. Anybody who's in an elected position, it's our job to push them. That's what we're supposed to do. We can't expect anybody to just do what we think is right. We got to push these people. It's the same in work environments, friendships. It's the same. You know what I'm saying? You got to negotiate. You got to fight for what you want. You can't just sit back. But yeah, this will be Biden's biggest issue. And of course, the Republican Party's biggest problem is that this motherfucker is at the top of the ticket. So Biden really essentially is running against himself. I mean, he really is. Joe Biden's running against himself because Donald Trump is maybe the worst candidate ever, especially in 2024, especially with all the stuff that's going on with him legally. It is Joe Biden versus himself, even more so than it was in 2020. But I'm going to continue to criticize my team, progressives. I'm a progressive, right? And one of the biggest criticisms I have for progressives, the more I work in this space, the more I realize, man, progressives are a whole lot of talk, but when it's time to really do something, we ain't nowhere to be found, man. And this goes beyond presidential elections. We got to get our asses out here to the polls, man. I mean, what good are all of our ideas if we aren't actually pushing progressive candidates into office? You know what I'm saying? Like we progressives have to do a better job at organizing. And this is not new. I mean, we've known this, but like just step one, go up to the damn polls, go fucking vote. You feel me? Like go vote. And this includes me too. You feel me? Like there's been so many elections that I should have voted in and I just didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like progressives would be so much more powerful if collectively we voted more often. But one of the biggest reasons that the Democrats don't really care that much what Republicans have to say is because, I mean, not Republicans, progressives, because progressives don't vote. Progressives talk a whole lot of shit and then we don't vote. So, like, who cares? You feel me? Like, it's not like progressives always show up to the polls. So, if they hold their vote back, man, that's really going to put no, it's not. It's like few progressives vote. So, like, when every election cycle, you feel me, progressives are like, I'm not voting. Like, you never vote. Who gives a fuck? And again, this goes to me too. Like, this goes to me too. So, unless you actually voted for Joe, then you holding your vote back doesn't matter. And so many progressives didn't vote for Joe. So, it's like, okay, like, that's cool. But all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, progressives have to participate in the process more. We just do. All of us. We have to participate more. You know what I'm saying? We do. We can't keep losing and then saying, "Oh, the Democrats should have let us win." Not really. Why should they let us win? No, we need to win. We just need to win. And again, this is an indictment on all, including myself. You know, I'm 31, so now I'm in a position where, like, okay, now I really can do a lot more in politics. But in my 20s, I could have done so much more than I did, and a lot of that just honestly was just lack of knowledge, which is, you know, what our mission here is, and as we put together this nonprofit and everything like that. But if, you know, people just need to be aware of how much there's really going on. But progressives have to participate in the process more. No wokeness or jihadism allowed. Trump announced plan to create his own public university. He already kind of had one.
In recent weeks, Americans have been horrified to see students and faculty at Harvard and other once respected universities expressing support for the savages and jihadists who attacked Israel. We spend more money on higher education than any other country, and yet they're turning our students into communists and terrorists and sympathizers of many, many different dimensions. We can't let this happen. It's time to offer something dramatically different. Under the plan I'm announcing today, we will take the billions and billions of dollars that we will collect by taxing, fining, and suing excessively large private university endowments, and we will then use that money to endow a new.
Hold on, I was reading y'all comments because again, I think this is an interesting conversation. You know, just in terms of like, you know, like we all know progressives have to get more organized and involved, and I think that we're in a very good time to do that, just because so many people in the establishment are in their 80s, literally. You feel me? Like, so it's a really good opportunity for Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z to really step into positions of leadership, and I have a lot of optimism for that.
We can't let this happen. It's time to offer something dramatically different. Under the plan I'm announcing today, we will take the billions and billions of dollars that we will collect by taxing, fining, and suing excessively large private university endowments, and we will then use that money to endow a new institution called the American Academy. Its mission will be to make a truly world-class education available to every American, free of charge, and do it without adding a single dime to the federal debt. This institution will gather an entire universe of the highest quality educational content covering the full
He said an entire universe full of the most valuable educational content. What? An entire universe.
spectrum of human knowledge and skills and make that material available to every American citizen online for free. Whether you want lectures or ancient histories or an introduction to financial accounting or training in a skilled trade, the goal will be to deliver it and get it done properly. Using study groups, mentors, industry partnerships, and the latest breakthrough in computing, this will be a truly top-tier education option for the people. It will be strictly non-political.
Who made this up? Because I can't imagine that Donald Trump thought of this himself. One, because he's an idiot. Two, because his mind is spinning and he's so worried about not going to prison. He probably was like, he got him a Michael Cohen 2.0. He got him a new version of Michael Cohen. You know what I'm saying? And he come in and he just like, okay, look, we need some type of a scam, a scheme. Oh, just make me a new university.
And there will be no wokeness or jihadism allowed.
What? No wokeness or jihadism allowed in my university. What does that even mean?
None of that's going to be allowed. Most importantly, the American Academy will compete directly with the existing and very costly four-year university system by granting students degree credentials that the U.S. government and all federal contractors will henceforth
We got the Murphy Show in the building. What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
recognize. The Academy will award the full and complete equivalent of a bachelor's degree. In addition, to help the 40 million Americans who have some college education but no degree, the American Academy
What did he just say?
U.S. government and all federal contractors will henceforth recognize. The Academy will award the full and complete equivalent of a bachelor's degree.
According to what? If the Academy's not accredited, then what do you mean it's the equivalent to a bachelor's degree? What is the equivalent to a bachelor's degree? What does that mean? You have you have your associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs, your doctorates, medical degrees. Then you have certifications of all different kinds. Like, but what kind, but a specific certification is not equal to a bachelor's degree. Because honestly, a lot of what a bachelor's degree does is a lot of what bachelor's degrees do is they basically just give you credibility that you're a professional and that people should consider you. So no, there's nothing that's the equivalent of a bachelor's degree. That doesn't make sense at all. But this is Donald Trump.
In addition, to help the 40 million Americans who have some college education but no degree, the American Academy will grant credit for past coursework at legacy institutions and give you the chance to complete your education at the American Academy for free and much more quickly than is now possible or available. This will be a revolution in higher education and will provide life-changing opportunities for tens of millions of our citizens. Enjoy it, learn from it, and thank you.
Enjoy it, learn from it, and thank you. Okay. I'm sure he doesn't have a clue what's going on in his own university whatsoever. All right, we got some sad news. Let's see. I'm sure that a lot of y'all probably have seen him before, just being very active as an activist for universal health care. Barkin, activist who fought for U.S. healthcare overhaul, dies at 39. Mara, hello. How you doing today? Barkin was diagnosed with ALS in 2016 and said his illness clarified the cruelty of our profit-driven system. Barkin, an attorney and healthcare activist whose journey with motor neuron disease prompted a fight to overhaul the U.S. healthcare system, has died at the age of 39 from complications with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. Barkin's wife, Rachel Scarborough King, announced his death in a post to Twitter. I'm not saying X, formerly known as Twitter. Quote, you probably knew 80 as a healthcare activist, but more importantly, he was a wonderful dad and my life partner for 18 years. 80 fought for the 24/7 care he needed to be home with us until the end of his life. King added, thanking Barkin's caregivers and their labor and care, which allowed us to live as a family through 80's health challenges. Everyone should have that chance, she said. Barkin was first diagnosed with ALS in 2016 at the age of 32. The healthcare advocate wrote in a 2022 piece for The Guardian. The progressive degenerative illness targets nerve cells in the spinal cord and the brain. The disease is often terminal, with those diagnosed usually having a 3 to 5 year survival rate. Barkin lost his ability to walk and was unable to eat, speak, or breathe on his own without the use of a ventilator machine. Since his diagnosis, Barkin said that he became acutely aware with the issues regarding the U.S. healthcare system, especially for those dealing with a serious illness. Quote, I knew that U.S. healthcare was broken before my diagnosis, but having a serious illness clarified the cruelty of our profit-driven system. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, no, he definitely made a lot of waves before his time, before he passed, because I remember him in full effect. He was only able to pay for his round-the-clock care after suing his insurance company in federal court. So unless he did that, his life would have came to an end even sooner. Okay, yeah, because I remember him like around that time in 2017. I remember when he went viral around that time. Quote, think about the legacy that you will have for my son and your grandchildren if you take your principles and turn them into votes. And that's what matters, man. Progressives don't be voting, man. And it's more complicated than that. But going forward, and it's not every 4 years. We have to show up to the polls. And that's it's just one aspect of organization, but we got to do it, man. We have to do it. In 2018, Barkin co-founded the nonprofit Be a Hero, an organization working to expand access to healthcare amid other political priorities. Jamila Headley, the organization's co-executive director, celebrated Barkin's life and work into a post to X. Quote, it's hard to imagine a world without 80 Barkin learning, strategizing, fighting, and laughing alongside me. But his work lives on and Be a Hero in the powerful movement of patience we are building. There was some $9,000 out of pocket cost. Yeah, man, it's definitely, our healthcare system is an unbelievable mess. It just is. But unfortunately, we lost 80 Barkin. But I do remember him right around the time when I first started really getting more into politics and paying more attention. All right. Now, Trump is already accusing his 2024 rivals of cheating because there's such a good chance that of course he is. He's setting it up. It's a win-win for Trump. If Trump does end up beating Joe Biden in 2024, if that does end up happening, well, then he won. But if he loses, which there's a very good chance that he will, then he can just say that actually, it was stolen from him again. So, it's a win-win. Either he wins or he wins. Although more than 3 months remain before the 2024 Iowa caucus kicks into gear, former President Donald Trump has already begun accusing his political rivals of cheating. In a video posted on the Republican, let's just watch it.
Our wonderful Trump caucus captains, thank you for all that you're doing. We really appreciate.
Oh, this is the caucus. He ain't even talking about the general.
For our wonderful Trump caucus captains, thank you for all that you're doing. We really appreciate the important thing you can do for our campaign is to lock in your 10 for Trump and turn them out for caucuses. Teach them how to caucus. Take them in your car on caucus night. If you have to do whatever is necessary, we got to get them in. We got to make America great again.
Got to do
So
it.
do whatever it takes. If you do, we will win and win big, and that's what you have to do.
Got to do it. But yeah, no. Biden. He's gonna have to address, because again, his dip in Muslim American support is a dip in real votes. Like, that's not a dip in like just online leftists who make a lot of noise. That's not what that is. Those are people who he needs in those swing states. So he's going to have to effectively tread this issue. You know, he's going to have to call for peace in a stronger way. He's going to have to do something effective. But again, essentially, he's running against himself. Joe Biden versus Joe Biden in 2024. Because Trump is just such a disaster. If Joe Biden loses to Donald Trump, like, it'll be because he lost to himself. But yeah, other than this issue with those key votes, I don't know if you see, I got a hive. I'm allergic to weed, actually. I smoke it, but sometimes when I touch it, I can break out in hives different places. We got the 1804 in the building. But yeah, no, Biden really has to address this issue. But other than that, he really has Trump just flat out beat on everything. But in terms of, like, when it comes time to put together a general campaign, because you have to keep that in mind. Nobody's general campaign has started yet. So we'll see what's up. But yeah, Biden has a real political puzzle on his hands. All right, let's see what's up. Oh, what cigar head? Well, you said Trump said he got 200 million people waiting to vote for him. Is that what you said? Trump said that? Who said that? Room full of GOP lawmakers tell Sean Hannity they'll impeach Biden.
An exit question of all of you, and then I'll ask the entire room. But before I get to that, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, on your committee, you told me, Congresswoman, she thinks the Biden family, when all is said and done, that they will have received, the 9 family members, the shell corporations, the funneling, et cetera, the money laundering involved in it surrounding.
Oh, Mary, you got that. Yeah, it's something about, like, when it's like, it's not all weed, but like when it's real powdery or something. I don't know, just something to the touch. Like, I'll break out in hives and stuff.
In excess north of 50 million, maybe more. Do you believe that? That family got that much money?
They're on track,
including the grandkids.
They're on track to exceed that number. We're
and what did the
around 30
grandkids do
million
for the
now
money?
that we.
Were they experts in oil?
No, they weren't experts in anything. And to this day, they've never said what they did to receive the money. Now we have Jim Biden's bank records, and he was just as bad as Hunter. The only reason we don't know anything about Jim, he didn't leave a laptop laying around.
So the question is, well, not a lot of people do, actually. But are we really, this is an impeachment inquiry, Mr. Speaker. Is this leading to impeachment? Do you believe that the evidence that they're accumulating in these 3 committees is now leading to the ultimate impeachment in the House of Representatives of Joe Biden?
Next to the declaration of war, impeachment is probably the most serious power that Congress has. We do not wield it for political purposes, but we are following the truth where it leads. And you hear the evidence, you hear this laid out and summarized. Of course, you know there's much more than what we're able to do in one segment. We're going to follow the truth where it leads because we have a constitutional responsibility to do so. We're on it, and we're going to continue.
Let me scan the room. How many of you think that that's where this is headed? Please raise your hand. Wow. The whole room. Thank you all. I appreciate you being with us.
Everybody about to do it. They say, yeah, no, we gonna impeach him again. We gonna try to do this again because they had them inquiries, but I guess they gonna go harder. They gonna try even harder. All right, let's see what's up. What should we do now? We're not quite finished. We're not quite finished. But yeah, nah, man. I'm just really curious to see what the hell is gonna happen. Because Mike, like you saying, it's like, hey, you can't really say exactly what's gonna happen either way. But from my point, my personal opinion, and unless I see him change his behavior, I'm not gonna be able to change my mind. Trump could beat Biden, but I think that these court cases are just going to fuck it up because especially when the general election starts, Trump's not going to be talking about anything but how big of a victim he is. And we'll see. But like, if Trump isn't able to address this differently, then it's just going to look like Joe Biden's running against himself. Like but like and that doesn't really say much because if Biden may end up losing a lot of votes in this election and still win. You know what I'm saying? Like so like either way, neither of these candidates are people that are very popular. You know, like Donald Trump is not popular, but neither is Joe Biden. So it's just like it's actually a really boring election, but the stakes are pretty high. Let's see what's up. CNN K-File reveals shocking tapes of new GOP Speaker Mike Johnson's anti-LGBTQ gay conversion rants. Oh, they got rants of this guy.
Tonight, dangerous. That's how former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney describes the new House Speaker Mike Johnson. Cheney once sharing an adjoining office with Johnson on Capitol Hill, so she knows him. And it comes as CNN's K-File has uncovered details about Johnson's history with a group that promoted gay conversion therapy.
Thank you, Cigar Head. Yes, we growing here. We are growing. And things are coming together. And what I'm most excited about is the real world work that we getting ready to do is real. Thank you, everybody.
A long debunked theory that gay people could be made straight. Here's some of what he said in the past.
It's time for an honest conversation about homosexuality. There's freedom to change if you want to.
CNN K-File, Andrew Kaczynski is out front. So, Andrew, that's pretty unambiguous. But what else did you find?
Yeah, so for years, Johnson worked with this group called Exodus International on an anti-gay event aimed at teens. Now, Exodus was a leader in what was called the ex-gay movement. We talked a little bit about it in that intro, where they claimed that you could essentially change somebody's sexuality through counseling, through prayer. They basically treated being gay as a mental illness. Now, Johnson and this group, when he was an attorney at this socially conservative organization called the Alliance Defense Fund, collaborated on this event called the Day of Truth. And this was actually in response to a pro-gay event called the Day of Silence. It was to raise awareness about bullying for gay teens. And then they launched this event the next day in 2005 that was about basically they'd pass out cards. They would tell people that you could change your sexual behavior. They pointed teens to their website, and this had links to Exodus's ministries. And we actually have some audio of Johnson talking about that event. Let's take a listen to it.
Our race, the size of our feet, the color of our eyes, these are things we're born with and we cannot change. But what these adult advocacy groups like the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network are promoting is a type of behavior. Homosexual behavior is something you do. It's not something that you are.
And I think we should note, too, that Exodus actually shut down in 2013. Their founder issued...
What? Oh,
a long apology, apologizing for the hurt
you do. It's not something you are.
And pain that this sort of thing has caused. And we actually spoke to a former executive when we were working on this story, and he said that...
Of course it's something you are. What are you talking about? We are sexual creatures. Like, that's a part of what we are.
This sort of thing was very damaging for gay teens.
So what else did you find on Johnson's record on gay rights?
So homosexuality was a very, it was a topic he talked about a lot. When that Lawrence v. Texas ruling came down in 2003, which threw out state sodomy laws, Johnson actually wrote to say that he thought those laws should have stayed in place. He
Right, Mike Johnson, like, it's something you do. I've fucked a lot of guys before, but I don't always fuck guys. I don't always fuck guys, but
called homosexuality, we reported last week, inherently unnatural. He called it a dangerous lifestyle. He was very against same-sex marriage, and he actually said it was going to bring down democracy. And then he said people would be marrying their pets, like goldfish, cats, things like that. And he even shared this sort of odd pseudoscientific or historical theory that the Roman Empire fell because of homosexuality. And we have a clip of that as well.
Many historians, those who are objective, would look back and recognize and give some credit to the fall of Rome, to not only the deprivation of the society and the loss of morals, but also to the rampant, homosexual behavior that was condoned by the society.
Nah, bro, the Roman Empire fell because its time came. That's it. That's literally it. The Roman Empire fell because it lasted for a long time, and then went into the Byzantine Empire. You feel me? And then all the way, what was it? They had the Holy Roman Emperors, and the idea of Rome lasted for a long time. But even before that, the Roman Empire lasted for hundreds and hundreds of years. Its time ran out. That's it. That you feel me? Because again, like, if you say that, then what about all the other empires and massively successful nation states that have existed in history that have failed too? Is it all because guys were having sex with guys and girls were having sex with girls? Is that the case for all of these empires? Because you're kind of missing out on a whole lot of reason here, my brother.
So we did reach out to Johnson's office. We asked about those clips. We asked, does he still believe this stuff? Does he believe in conversion therapy? We didn't get a response from them.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. I appreciate it. The K-File.
The Roman Empire failed because people were gay and they were cool with it. Like, bro, what about all the other empires that failed because Mike, what you say, you spread yourself too thin. As you said, you don't like my music. Sometimes people, look, I'm not actually a Roman. I don't want to be considered a Roman just because y'all took over my ancestral lands. You look at empires all throughout history. They collapse for so many different reasons. And one of the biggest problems with empires is that it's a whole lot of land filled with many different kinds of people that don't all want to live the same type of way. So, but when conservatives, they like to keep things simple, because when you get to thinking and when you get to adding all those pesky details and those pesky facts and stuff like that, you feel me? We doing too much now. We're doing way too much. We got Aaron in the building. Hello. All right, and two, it's just like the Roman Empire what was it gonna last forever? It lasted for a very long time. Like, the Roman Empire did very well, and there's a lot to it. You feel me? Like, there's so much to it that was going on. It was a very multicultural, diverse. That's what empires are. Empires are multicultural and diverse. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point of empires. We want to unite all of these different peoples under one state. But since we on Speaker Johnson, you know what I'm saying? Let's see what's up. McConnell and Speaker Johnson divide sharply on year-end strategy.
Both Israel and Ukraine without needing to.
New Speaker Mike Johnson, at a meeting with the Senate GOP conference Wednesday, laid out his stark differences with Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell over key elements of the year-end strategy, signaling the challenges the two leaders face in the weeks ahead. Johnson rejected McConnell's arguments, made in private and public, that U.S. aid to Israel should be tied to military aid to Ukraine, security assistance for Taiwan, and provisions to boost security along the U.S.-Mexico border. The speaker insisted to GOP senators that Israel aid will have moved separately from Ukraine funding, arguing that it couldn't otherwise pass the House. But Johnson threw a bone to McConnell, Congress's leading Republican proponent of supporting the war in Ukraine, by pledging to GOP senators that he could bring a separate Ukraine aid package to the House floor after House lawmakers approve an Israel-only bill after this week. It's pretty clear that he doesn't intend to leave Ukraine behind, and that's reassuring to those of us that support Ukraine funding, said Senator John Cornyn, Republican from Texas. But there's also going to be a price to be paid on the border, and it's not just going to be on money. It's going to be on policy that Democrats have refused to do in the past. They're just arguing about where to send money they could be sending to us. They could be funding programs, but they're like, no.
To cut domestic spending.
Speaker Mike Johnson's already meeting some stiff opposition to his multi-billion-dollar Israel war funding bill. It offsets $14.3 billion in Israel aid with $14.3 billion and cuts to the IRS from the Inflation Reduction Act.
Now, per the White House, there's plenty of money to go around for both Israel and Ukraine without needing to cut domestic spending. Let's see what they're saying.
Is the president open to considering any spending offsets for that funding?
So look, I'm certainly not going to get into hypotheticals from here, but what I can say is,
House Republicans are calling for that right
now. I understand that. I hear you. What we've been very clear about is that we want to see both move forward. We want to see both of the requests that we've made in the supplemental for the national security. We want to see both move forward because it is vital as those two countries are fighting for their democracies.
So spending offsets, is that on the table?
Look, these are emergency funding requests, right? We've been very clear about that. Like other emergency funding that Congress has passed with bipartisan support, they do not require offsets. They just don't.
And we'll see where the money goes. Until then, honestly, it's just a bunch of hoopla, a bunch of blah, blah, blah. We'll see where it goes. And when it does go, we'll talk about it. Right here, we'll talk about it. Let's see what's up. I continue to be, Ben Carson is one of the dumbest people I've ever seen, but he was also a brain surgeon. So he's very intelligent in certain areas, but it's like he's just, I think, oh God.
The question really is, why aren't there more people like you who actually served under Donald Trump, who are willing to actually endorse him? I want to read for you some quotes from your former colleagues. John Kelly says, "God help us at the thought of another Trump term." Mark Milley, "We don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator." Mark Esper, "Unfit for office." Dan Coates, "To him, a lie is not a lie." Gina Haspel, "A 6-year-old with a tantrum," is how she described her former boss. What are they seeing that you're not seeing?
I think the better question is, what are they not seeing? And they are not seeing the big picture.
I think what are they not seeing? Donald Trump, he's just such a capable leader, and that's why he lost to Joe Biden. Because he's just so amazing. That's why he lost in 2020, and why he's very likely going to lose again in 2024. Like, oh God, it's so, bro. Donald Trump sycophants are so embarrassing because he's so undeserving of it. He's so undeserving of it. I mean, like, Dan, you couldn't pick a better guy to be a sycophant for? Oh my God.
As I said, we allow our Justice Department to be weaponized. We will have lost something very precious and important. we will become like a banana republic.
He's so boring. Who wants to listen to this dude talk about anything?
And that is incredibly important. We would have lost the republic that Benjamin Franklin talked about.
But what evidence do you have, Dr. Carson, that the Justice Department has been weaponized against Trump specifically? I mean, there's no evidence of that.
Well, let's put it this way. Al Capone, who was a notorious killer, had one indictment, and Donald Trump has 4 indictments. That would tell you something right there.
I don't think
But,
that's evidence of anything except that Donald Trump allegedly has committed conduct that has resulted in indictments.
This dude just said, hello.
Evidence that you have a group of people, a system that is out to get this president, and they feel that he is an existential threat to their existence. And
Well,
we
let
have
me
to
let me
recognize that.
Oh God! See, again, that's one of the biggest problems with conservative arguments. Is it's like, bro, things aren't this simple. Shit isn't this simple. Well, yeah, Al Capone only had 1 indictment, but Trump has 4. Like, bro, what? Like, huh? How does that help his argument? You're comparing him to the most notorious gangster in American history, Al Capone. Like, that's who you're comparing him to. And again, Donald, he's so just undeserving. Exactly. He's not making the point he thinks he's making at all. Like, bro, what? So the most notorious gangster in US history has 3 less indictments than Trump, and you just thought to bring that up. Like, what? It's not relevant. It's not relevant, but it still makes it worse. Right, exactly. We gotta go on because he's just too damn boring. Court document shows Trump knew he lost election before leaving office. Of course he did. Prosecutors for New York Attorney General Letitia James produced a document in court Wednesday during the $250 million business fraud civil trial of Donald Trump that one legal expert says shows the ex-president knew he did not win the 2020 election and had planned to return to private life. The document, as the Messenger's Adam Classfield reports, shows Donald Trump, quote, restored himself as a trustee of the Trump Organization on January 15th, 2021, just days before leaving office. Bro, Trump can't win in court, bro. He can't. He can't. Bro, he cannot win in court, man. Like, and they have so much more than we know about, and we gonna find it out, but he still got all these other cases that start next year. Like, how are you gonna beat this? Bro, Donald Trump is in the process of losing everything because he's such an idiot. Like, bro, you do not have to be in this situation, but you are, because you're Donald Trump, and this is what you do. Professor at NYU Law and former FBI General Counsel Andrew Weissman, the well-known MSNBC legal analyst, jumped on Classfield's social media post, quote, breaking an NYC civil Trump case. Weissman wrote on X, this document can be hugely important to Jack Smith and Fani Willis, the special counsel prosecuting Trump for his efforts to overturn the election, and in the Espionage Act case over classified documents, and the Georgia District Attorney also prosecuting Trump's effort to overturn the And then it's like stuff like this will be shown in court, and then Donald Trump will just get up, he'll just leave, and then go out to the cameras and be like, I just presented perfect evidence, 100% evidence that completely exonerates me from this case, but the judge won't do it. Weissman says the document would show that Trump knew, at least as of 1/15/21, that he had not won the election and was returning to his private life and business. On January 11th of 2017, President-elect Donald Trump held an hour-long press conference. Held an hour-long press conference, complete with prop folders. Hold on one sec. Sorry, y'all. His attorney claimed the president-elect had relinquished leadership and management of the Trump Organization and handed complete and total control of his business empire to Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and Alan Weisselberg. That, according to ProPublica, did not happen until at least January 23rd. I guess this was a tweet that's not showing up here. But again, man, this dude, he can't win. He cannot win in court. All right, let's see what's up. What should we do next? Lindsey Graham. Let's talk about old Lindsey. Lindsey Graham fumes at Tuberville on the Senate floor. You just denied this lady a promotion.
It's about keeping
Tuberville is an idiot too. He's dumb.
politics out of the military. I did not put it in the military. Joe Biden and Secretary Austin put politics in the military. And it's about the right to life. These are some of the most important things in the world to me. And so, Mr. President, I object.
The objection is heard.
Mr. President.
Senator from South Carolina.
Yeah, I'll have another one. Let me respond to my colleague respectfully. And we have courts. If you think they've done something illegal, go to court. That's how you handle these things. The Pentagon has issued a legal opinion I disagree with, saying this doesn't violate the Hyde Amendment. I disagree with it. Here's what's going to happen. You've just denied this lady a promotion. You did that. All of us are ready to promote her because she deserves to be promoted. She had nothing to do with this policy. Let me say it again. Everybody in this body could find an issue with any administration they don't agree with. And what we're going to do is open up Pandora's box. Today is abortion policy. If we take back the White House, we'll go back to the Mexico City policy, limiting dollars to be given to overseas entities that are engaged in the abortion business. Some pro-choice people don't like that. What would happen if they put a hold on all the officers because they don't agree with the Republican administration? There's a reason this has not been done this way for a couple hundred years. No matter where you believe it or not, Senator Tuberville, this is doing great damage to our military. I don't say that lightly. I've been trying to work with you for 9 months.
Like, bruh, I mean, these people, and again, like now that I'm 31, I'll be 32 in January. Like, you know, you get up here and it's like, whoa, adults are really fucking just stupid. Like, bro, like this dude has lived over twice as long as I have. He has been around over twice as long as me, and he's this dumb. Or abortion and like, dude. Like, but you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Hold up. We gonna save the best for last because I got a phone call in a few that it might be at 2. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's at 1, but it might be at 2 because the dude that's calling me is on Central Time. But before we go to George Santos, George Santos, man. Pathetic. Marjorie Taylor Greene names and blames feckless Republicans who helped defeat resolution to censure Tlaib. My birthday is January 31st. Shortly after her resolution to censure Rep. Rashida Tlaib was voted down, Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene lashed out at nearly 24 House Republicans who voted against it. In a scathing Wednesday night dispatch on X, the platform previously known as Twitter, Greene posted a list of all the Republicans who voted the resolution down and called them pathetic. list of feckless Republicans that voted with Democrats to table my censure resolution against Rashida Tlaib. This is why Republicans never do anything to stop the communist Democrats or ever hold anyone accountable. Hey, at least she pushing her positions. She said 23 Republicans, yay. The roll call, boom. Feckless rhino Republicans. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not playing with y'all. She is not playing with you motherfuckers. Don't mess around. All right, hold on. Let me see. Oh, of course. I got Ron DeSantis. I'm sending this to myself now. Mr. Ron DeSantis, who is in total agreement with Tommy Tuberville. You know, he's in total agreement. He's not doing well, but and I'm looking at a couple other things to talk about because I think that this call is at two my time and not 1 o'clock. But we got a few other things. All right, let's check this out real quick. Hold on, give me a sec. Let me pull this up. Ron DeSantis in total agreement and total alignment with Tommy Tuberville. Oh.
So do you agree that Tommy Tuberville should lift the blockade on military promotions? Do you agree with Republicans in the Senate?
Actually, I think that what the DOD is doing, I don't think they're following the law with respect to the abortion tourism. I don't think taxpayer money should be spent on that. We have a very weak defense industrial base. We've got huge problems with recruiting. And so their focus on that, I don't think it's consistent with the law. I also think it's misguided. I would also point out that you can promote people on an individual basis. I think the Senate has decided they have not wanted to move a lot of those. But if there's people that are mission critical, they can move it in spite of what Senator Tuberville did. But I think fighting back on the Pentagon going outside the boundaries of the law, I think that's Congress's appropriate role for oversight and checks and balances.
But to answer the question, do you think that Senator Tuberville should lift the blockade that he's put on military promotions?
No, because I think that we're trying to force a change in Pentagon policy to conform them to the law, while at the same time he has allowed individuals to be appointed. So if there are mission critical promotions, bring them before the Senate. I think he's been very clear that that's appropriate, and I know that they have done that in certain instances.
Okay. Well, your campaign is continuing to go down in flames, and you may end up dropping out, and I really wouldn't blame you for doing so if you did, because there's only so much that a man can take. There's only so many L's that somebody can take. Now, this dude, that is his permanent theme song. George Santos's "Come at the King" meme celebration over Congress failing to kick him out was very short-lived. Bro, this dude is out of his mind for real. He lives somewhere else. He really lives somewhere else. If you come for me, you best not miss. Bro, what is wrong with this dude? Who does this dude think he is? Facts. Santos 2024. Get this dude in office, man. We got to get this dude on a presidential campaign now, man. Get Biden out of here. Get Trump out of here. We got to get this man in office. He's still young. You feel me? He's just old enough. Oh, my God, bro. Man. And, you know, however this dude got into office is the real problem. This dude really got into office, man. We got to do better than this. But what a wonderful and fun Thursday show. I got to get ready for a phone call that I got in a few minutes. I got me a phone call in a couple of minutes, but thank you everybody so much for joining me. we had another very good one. Tomorrow we're gonna be live streaming, and then on Saturday morning we're doing another episode of Nerd News. It was really fun when we did it last Saturday. We're gonna review some trailers. We're gonna watch some cartoons, and we'll let the audience pick what it is that we're gonna watch. We'll have like a poll set aside. You know what I'm saying? But the Saturday morning cartoon edition, that was fun. We're gonna do that again. And I'll be sending out. I've had a variety of conversations this week. Got some more comments so we can get this nonprofit put together. I'll get all the information for everything that we need to everybody so that you're not in the dark about what's going on. Thank you to everybody for all your support, all your encouragement, all your continued love, because it truly is carrying me forward. Now let's go ahead and take this last little hit together. And go on about our days. I still got a lot of work to do, and I got to work out later. Got to get me a workout in. Love you too, Fritza. All right. You as well, Brother Vincent. Have a good one. This for y'all, man. All right, y'all. You have a fantastic afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow.